You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
We are NerdLanta.
You are now listening to the NerdLanta podcast. Episodes are available on all podcast apps and on the ESO Network. Please visit us online at nerdlanta.com for more info.
Well, hello, NerdLanta fans. I am your host, Matthew English. Without my co-host this week, I know she covered for me last week. I had some family stuff. Now I'm without Julie Marateck, but standing in for her, as always, our ever loyal, ever trustworthy Kristopher Bolz, producer Chris.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm okay. How are you?
Not too bad. I've had 2 cups of coffee so far, so I think we are all set.
So we did the opposite today. I was up very, very early today. We're recording this at 8 p.m. I've been up since 5
a.m.? Oh, wow.
5 a.m., yeah. So 5:30, somewhere around there I woke up. Yeah, so I'm working the early morning shifts now. So I'm getting up bright and early, also drinking a lot of coffee as soon as I roll out of bed. It's pretty exciting. It's a interesting lifestyle that we've chosen, right, Chris? Working odd hours.
yeah, gotta pay the bills, I suppose. But I'm excited for tonight. We have a great show lined up. Our guest actually is with us right now, Deranta Avaloy. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, yo? What's going
Hi,
on?
Deranta.
Have you had enough coffee so far?
No, it's never enough coffee. Never enough coffee.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
That's true.
I think I've slept for about maybe 3 hours today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
That's not enough sleep.
No, it's not. It's really, really not. It's trying to make it till Saturday. Then I'm gonna crash all day.
There you go. That's what you have to do. That's, I'm with you though. There's days where I sleep for maybe 3, 4, 5 hours. It averages to usually about 5 hours a day. But I always look forward to that one day where I can just crash and just recuperate.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How do you drink your coffee? Are you a black coffee drinker? Or are you a cream and sugar kind of person?
I'm cream and sugar, or either most times I'm that guy who goes to Starbucks and gets all those like little kitty looking drinks, like the frappuccinos or the caramel and stuff that looks like a milkshake. That's me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I work at Starbucks. I'm very familiar with all of these terms.
Oh yeah.
And it's pumpkin spice season, so everyone's real excited right now.
Yep.
Well, we're going to get started here in a little bit with Nerd News, but I do want to mention, Deranta Avaloy, he's the owner of Avaloy Studios, which is a multimedia company based here in Atlanta, specializing in film, TV production, movie production, video games, and animation. And we got a lot to talk about with that, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. But first, do you guys want to start off with some Nerd News?
Let's do it.
Nerd News. Nerd News. It's Nerd News time. Excellent. Woo, 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 woo.
All right, so this just came out recently. Sacha Baron Cohen secretly shot Borat 2 during the pandemic. It's unclear right now what studio or streaming service is backing up the film or will be taking it, but it's been reported that Trump and Epstein's relationship, as well as the coronavirus, all figure into the main narrative with cameos from Mike Pence, Rudy Giuliani, and more. Sources say that one of the yet-to-be-revealed cameos could potentially derail a political career, and we imagine some backlash and lawsuits will follow. This is in quotes, so I'm not sure who said that. But so this movie also is going to be titled Borat Great Success. No release date yet, but hopefully we'll find out soon. So what do you guys think of this news of, a new Borat movie? Did you know about this? And what do you think? Is this something that you might be interested in seeing?
Well, I can share a few little tidbits about what's actually going on inside the industry about it. It's actually a big bidding war going on right now, and it's getting up there. Like Last I heard, it was like about like 20 million, and they're trying to put it out before the elections in November.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's going crazy. Like everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. So it's like Netflix is bidding on it, Hulu's bidding on it. Everybody's going crazy right now.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. It makes perfect sense, especially if they're trying to do this before the election. That's just going to be crazy. Matthew, what do you think? Are you a fan of Borat? Did you like the original?
I never saw the original. I'm not a huge Sacha Baron Cohen fan, but I do have a lot of respect for what he does. I mean, I can appreciate what he does. It's just not for me all the time.
Yeah.
But no, I saw this news as well. And just was amazed that they had kept it under wraps and shot the whole thing during the quarantine. It's just been amazing that but I would guess that, based on the style that it looks like I watched the trailer, it looks, a fairly small crew, right? It's just him and maybe a couple camera operators. Like it's not crazy. So yes, it is fairly easy to keep on the DL, but I can't wait to see what these interviews are. Yeah, these kind of teasers about derailing political careers. I'm all about that. I'm a political nerd for sure, a news junkie. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for the stories that follow. For sure.
Yeah, I'm interested. I heard about this. I went back and I rewatched Borat, and I watched Bruno. He's very talented for what he's able to do. Not sure if I have anything else really to say about this. I just think it's kind of an interesting, thing. Apparently, he's already shown it to some people, and the reviews are pretty good. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's the news I had seen, that they'd already screened it even. I was like, wow, that is impressive. Good for him. And I hope he gets lots of money for it. That's awesome.
That's it for my news on Borat. And Matthew, you have a news article?
Oh, I've brought news that rocked my social media feed this week. Who's an MCU fan? Raise your hand. We'll start there.
Everybody.
Who loves everybody? Who isn't? Who loves Chris Evans? Everybody does. Captain America, we love him. Who wanted to see Chris Evans' penis this week? I did. Chris Evans accidentally leaked his own dick pic. Oh no, he didn't have to get hacked or anything. He just, kind of tech bamboozled his way into this one, trying to share a video to his Instagram of him and his brother playing a game of Heads Up, Ellen's, app for smartphones.
I like how the game was called Heads Up.
Called Heads Up. I know. There's so many jokes to be made there, especially if you saw the picture. But I just think it's so funny. The great part about it is that he decided to he handled this like the class act he is with a follow. You know, he went kind of radio silent the day after it happened. He immediately removed the video in which his picture was in his camera roll. He had done a screen cap trying to showcase his game of Heads Up. Heads Up will save a video to your camera roll of your whole gameplay. And he was trying to show the video of the game and closed out of the video without stopping the screen recording, and in his camera roll was this picture and a couple other pictures that people were mildly upset about. But went radio silent for a day, came back, I believe it was just the following day, and tweeted, "Now that I've got your attention, vote November 3rd," which was a classy way to handle it. He was like, look, he owned up to it, and I really appreciate that. He was like, this is what's happening. I can't undo it.
That was a good rebound,
now
I'd
go
say.
Vote. Yeah. His brother, who is a celebrity in and of himself just for being, Chris Evans' brother. He also acts, but I think most of his celebrity comes from being Chris Evans' gay brother. Also had a funny tweet about it. He was like, I was off social media yesterday. What'd I miss? It's like, oh, everyone, especially if you're in, it's like lots of social medias have their own kind of like rabbit holes for different groups. And among my gay Instagram feed, this was everywhere.
So my question is, who was that picture supposed to be going to?
So many questions. Maybe to his doctor? I don't know.
Yeah, to his doctor. That's it. When you have to see a doctor now, it's through Zoom. So maybe they did a physical and he had this,
he's like, I got a question about something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad. I feel for the guy. That's got to be hard. That's embarrassing. It happens. You've had a lot of people who, theirs were leaked after like a hacking situation. It was titled The Fappening. Wasn't that it? Where a bunch of female celebrities all had their iCloud accounts hacked. Like
yeah,
Jennifer
that happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's happened a few times. And so when those get leaked, that feels like such a violation of privacy, and I'm sure they feel very upset and kind of hurt by that. This, man, he can't blame anyone but himself for this one. That's kind of funny.
And he did it for America, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the line from Endgame where I believe it's Ant-Man, it's Paul Rudd who's like, "That's America's ass," right? And then
right.
And so a lot of the memes that I was seeing about his nude being slipped was like, "That's America's dick." It's like
There's definitely some foreshadowing going on in Endgames there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, but I really appreciate him taking it in stride and handling himself well about it. You know, it's embarrassing, but it happened, and here we are. You know, breaking the internet one day at a time.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. Hopefully, I'm sure.
He's got such a stellar reputation in Hollywood just for being a nice guy. You know,
I think that helps. I think the fact that he is known for just being a nice person. So when something like this slips out, no pun intended. But when something like that happens, I'm sure it's looked over for the most part. I mean, who really cares? Honestly, I feel like at this point, it is not great for these celebrities to have that side of their life exposed. Like, that's not what they're looking for. I think at this point we're so used to it through these videos like Pamela Anderson. I think that was the big one back in the 90s when that sex tape came out. That was like really big at that time, but now it's like, well, do we really care anymore? Like, it's, at least I don't, but I feel like it's we've kind of gotten over that for the most part.
The way it blew up on social media, what was really nice to see was his fan base going across. For a minute, it became hard to find the photo because his fans, they were sharing it on Twitter, or people were sharing it on Twitter, and his fan base, they were going in and very diligently going through and reporting every sighting they found of the photo and getting it removed from Twitter, which was it just shows how people think of him and the reputation he has.
Oh, that's cool.
Most fan base. Yeah. We love Chris Evans. We love Chris Evans. We want him to know that if he listens to NerdLanta, we want him to know that we're here for him.
Yes, and please be a guest on our show sometime.
Oh, yes, please. We would love to talk to you.
All right, here's the last story that we have here. If you're a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, maybe this will be interesting to you. Ludacris has teased that Fast and Furious 9 might take place in outer space. Okay, so while he didn't actually confirm that the franchise would go into space, he heavily insinuated that it would. And this was during a recent interview on SiriusXM. Ludacris was asked how the blockbuster film can build upon its previous action scenes and set pieces. Apparently, the interviewer mentioned the idea of going into space. At that point, Ludacris responded, "You just said something very important. I will say that you are very intuitive because you said something right, but I'm not going to give it away." However, just by saying that, he kind of gave it away. So what do you guys think of this news of Fast and Furious going into outer space? I think it's a little crazy, but who knows? This might work out.
What else could they do? I mean, it's nowhere else for them to go. But
yeah.
I mean, they done everything else. So it's like that's just where it was going. Eventually, because it's like they've done everything here. They've raced all over the place. The only other thing left to do is do it underwater. So yeah,
the cars rust, so they can't do it underwater.
Right. So they got to go to outer space.
Yeah, it's like you have these big action franchises where it's like you want to have the big summer blockbuster, and it every year has to top itself. And this is number 9, so it's like, yeah, you're right. Where else were they to go? But space. And then what happens for 10? Where are they going to go next? How do they keep escalating it? When does it come time just to end a franchise? Like it
makes too much money.
The MCU, it makes too much money. I know, but it's like, how do you keep raising the stakes when how it's like you've got, I think the MCU is going to run into this problem as well, to bring it back to that with Captain Marvel being too powerful. They've got someone very overpowered in the universe now. How do you keep escalating when you've got, granted, they've got, a wealth of intellectual property to draw upon, different enemies and such to face off on, and they've, it's like they've had to deal with that for, 70 years. in the comic books, at least, this kind of always escalating stakes for franchises. But yeah, with these Fast and Furious movies, where else were they going to take up at space? I don't know.
As I was researching this, I was thinking of other movies. What other major franchises or semi-major franchises have done the same thing and have gone into outer space? And it seems to be that a lot of horror movies have done this. Leprechaun went to outer space.
Jason.
Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, Jason X, that was in outer space. There's probably a few others, but those all kind of come to mind right away. I don't know how well they all did in the theaters. I don't think people were like crazy about the outer space scenario with any one of those, because it doesn't really seem like it fits, and it doesn't. But so I'm wondering how Fast and Furious, because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense either. What the story is based on. How do you go from where we are now into outer space? But it's all good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this. Honestly, I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie in a while. I saw the first 3. And what about you guys? Have you seen all of them?
I've seen everyone but Tokyo Drift. And
that's the one I did see. That was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like it really picked up once The Rock got involved. I think that was like the 5th or 6th one. It picked up for a little bit. So yeah, it's showing longevity. I'll give them that, because I think the first one came out maybe 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, 15
or 20 years. Yeah, I have to look into that. It's been a while. I remember seeing the first one in theater
19 years ago.
Wow. That's crazy. So almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I think it's impressive that it's lasted this long, and it just reminds me that I have to go watch them again. Because like I said, I saw the first 3. Tokyo Drift, I sort of drifted away from the franchise after that one. It just didn't really do it for me. But I heard that was very different than all the other ones. That was sort of a unique situation. So I'm curious to see how it goes on. So we'll see if Fast and Furious 9 actually make it into outer space. The release date for this movie is supposedly April 2nd, 2021. Obviously, there's delays right now for all movies, all productions, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. So that is the release date at the moment. With that being said, are there any movies coming up that you guys are looking forward to seeing? They just released Tenet recently. Was that something that either of you got to check out?
I want to go to the theaters, but I'm too paranoid, man. I can't afford I can't afford to get sick. I just can't. Like, I can't even take that chance.
Yeah, same.
Especially not for Tenet.
Yeah, I would love to go see Tenet. Oh, yeah. No, I would love to see Tenet, but yeah, that's something I'm more comfortable. Even if it wasn't a pandemic, that may be one. Just depending, like if I had a free afternoon, I'd probably go see it. But that's one I'm comfortable renting. I'm upset about the new James Bond movie being delayed. That one hurt me.
Yeah, that looks really good too. And Wonder Woman, that's being pushed back. They keep pushing these movie dates back, and it makes sense. They're we're trying to be safe, and also, I think everyone saw the what happened to Tenet. It didn't really have a huge turnout, so a lot of studios are probably looking at that and saying, you know what, maybe we're going to go ahead and push our date back and see what happens there. So, what other movies do you guys, are you thinking you may want to see at some point when they're released?
Well, the thing is, like, I'm a MCU fan, and I have not had a MCU fix since Spider-Man, So it's like, we're behind. Black Widow is supposed to come out earlier this year. Then in November it's supposed to be the Eternals.
The Eternals?
Yeah, they're supposed to come out.
Yeah.
So like we're all, and then remember this past summer, Winter Soldier and Falcon was supposed to come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
So we're behind.
Yeah, we definitely are, and that was the reason why I picked up Disney Plus. Because of Marvel and the fact that they're going to have original Marvel shows, but we're testing the waters right now. We don't really know when really is the perfect release date for any of these movies, I suppose.
I think that probably what's going to happen, especially with the MCU stuff or the Disney affiliated stuff, they're going to push everything through the app, through Disney Plus.
Yeah.
$30, get it over with. They'll make their money. And the thing is, look at it like this too. You can't really bootleg something that's on a streaming site,
Right.
That's true.
So it's all profit for them.
They did that with
Mulan.
Mulan came out. I didn't see it. Did you guys get a chance to check that one out?
No, I'm not really a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I didn't really have any interest in that. And then there was some backlash to it over some of the politics of it. So that was interesting to see. So yeah, no, maybe not for $30.
That's very steep, especially if you're already paying for the platform itself. If you're already paying for Disney Plus, which is not exactly that cheap either compared to other services. But I took a pass on it as well. But it's interesting to see how we're testing things out. Can you release it in the theater? Or let's see if we can release it, direct to video. They did that with Bill and Ted. Recently that came out and that seemed to be successful. But I'd imagine the motivation for a lot of studios is to release it in theater because that's where they're going to make all their money when they release them to Disney Plus and different platforms like this online. I can't imagine that they're making that much money from it. I think they're, barely covering the cost, but it is what it is. It's one or the other. I know Christopher Nolan, he refused the idea of releasing Tenet to a streaming service or video on demand. I think that would have benefited him, I guess, now that we see what happened with the amount of people that came to the theaters.
Right.
So,
right. Like honestly, they have a 70 millimeter screening at the Plaza Theater. Like, I really want to see that.
Oh yeah.
But again, I'm just not going out, dude. I'm good.
Yeah.
I do work, home. That's it. And occasionally grocery store.
For me, it's probably too much of the grocery store. I making way too much lasagna.
Did you leave the lasagna on my front porch, Chris?
Did you get a lasagna on your front porch?
I got a lasagna on my front porch.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I've got some family stuff going on, and people have been bringing food. And someone brought a lasagna. And we have no idea who it was. My dad and I ate it last night.
Whoa,
that's amazing.
So
that
anyone
is way better
listening who brought me a lasagna?
That is way better than any food delivery service.
I'm sorry, I just thought about that. I remembered that. I still haven't solved the lasagna mystery. You said lasagna, and it reminded me that I didn't get poisoned last night.
Do you have a camera on your porch?
No, of course not. I have no idea who it. Yeah, it's just there was a lasagna.
The lasagna mystery. Well, that's a fun mystery to have. That's better than what it could be. So having free food and especially lasagna, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that I didn't mean to derail the nerd news. I just thought about that.
I could talk about lasagna for a while, but I suppose that'll be in another conversation. We'll do that. But
let's do a whole mini episode on lasagnas.
I'm telling you, I make too many of them. All right. Well, that has been Nerd News. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here, and we'll be right back. We'll be talking to Deranta Avaloy, Avaloy Studios. Stay tuned.
Hey, weird podcast people! Join us every week on the Flopcast for a half hour or so of silly conversation about comics, music, Saturday morning cartoons, old movies and TV shows, and chickens. It'll be our little secret. Find us at flopcast.net and on the ESO Network.
Everyone these days could use a little support, and your friends at the ESO Network are no different. With the ESO Network Patreon, the cool thing is when you help support us, it's you who will benefit. With 4 tiers starting for as little as 25 cents a week, you can listen to some of your favorite network podcasts early, hear exclusive content, maybe get some ESO swag, or even possibly take a shot at the geek seat. All you need to do is sign up at patreon.com/ESO Network.
You are now listening to the NerdLanta podcast. Please visit us online at NerdLanta.com for all episodes.
We are NerdLanta.
Welcome back to NerdLanta. We are here with Deranta Avaloy, the owner of Avaloy Studios. It is a multimedia company based here in Atlanta, Georgia, specializing in film and TV production, music production, video games, and animation. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot. I'm glad to have you back on the show. Last time we spoke, it was during the when we had a live show over at Joystick Game Bar, and that was a couple of years ago, I believe.
Yeah. It was good times.
Yeah, and I imagine, now this is a couple of years later, I can see that you have a lot more going on, and I'm really excited to get into that with you. I want to start off with talking about your short film, Henry. What can you tell us about that?
Henry was a short film I did as part of like the Atlanta Film Festival. It was like a Kodak film 16 millimeter competition where they give you 100 feet of film, actual film, and you have to shoot like a little short. Now, 100 feet of film is only actually like about maybe 2 minutes of actual footage.
Oh, wow.
And so we had like a week to shoot that. And, I had never shot on film before. Shooting on film is a totally different process to shooting digitally. Film is like the old school stuff, like The Godfather, Star Wars, the original Star Wars trilogy, stuff like that. So I've been doing animation for such a long time. I just wanted to kind of just take a break and do some live action stuff. So I decided to test the waters. I wrote Henry, and I got together with Ben Martin, a good friend of mine, and Osceola Thaxton, who's the star of Henry. He's also one of my main actors in some of my other ventures, and we shot everything in like a weekend, actually at my office space, and it turned out like better than expected. So I mean, we played the film festival. We was actually supposed to play at the Plaza Theater back in March, but then COVID hit. So after that, we sat on it for a while, and then we had a screening. The Plaza Theater started doing drive-in screenings. So we had a screening there back in July, and then we had a virtual screening last month. So that's pretty much the end of that short run for that version of Henry. We're trying to wait for COVID to die down some more, and we're going to probably shoot some more and make it like a feature length. Hopefully, we can get started on that before the end of the year, because the feedback was really good on the film.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, and you already answered it. So yeah, my next question would have been, do you plan on making a feature-length film? So I'm excited to hear that. What are your expectations for that, or do you have any right now?
Well, the main thing we was thinking of is, like I said, shooting it to where we were going to try to go the film festival circuit route, because we were hoping that film festivals will kind of pick back up, but it seems like everything's going to be virtual for a while. So we're trying to really just figure out what to really do right now. Like you have something like, let's say like you have like a Sundance, which would be great if the film played there, but if they're not having an actual physical screening, it's probably going to be online virtual, which in some cases it might be a little easier to get into these festivals now, because more people really want their film to be actually shown in person. So I don't know. We're really trying to figure it out right now.
I did enjoy the short film. I watched it recently. The fighting choreography was great. Very impressive. What can you tell us about the process behind that?
Yeah, it's the guy, Rick Mora. I met him off of Instagram. He recently just moved to Atlanta because he actually was doing some stunt work on the new Suicide Squad movie. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, so he was doing that. I told him about what I was trying to do and everything else, and what the whole premise of Henry was. He was like, "Oh, it sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'll do it." So I told him I was shooting on.
Wow.
I told him I was shooting on film. It's a very low budget. He came out. We practiced it for about we practiced for like 4 weeks. 4 weeks we practiced before we actually started shooting, and that was it. It was just Rick and Thaxton, and they went through rehearsals like crazy.
So do you think if you continue the project, if you do decide to go onto something for the film festival circuit and shoot more, are you going to continue on film, or are you going to switch over to digital?
With Henry, we're actually going to keep going with film, because I
love that.
It's just it's something about that process that was so just enthralling and just exciting, and it it took me back to being like a film student. Like, we're all just sitting there in amazement, in between takes, it takes like about 15 to 20 minutes to change the film stock in the cameras. And so what you have to do is you have like a big black drape. You have to put it over yourself in the camera, and you have to change out the stock in the dark because you can't expose
Wow.
you can't expose the film stock to light. So it's just such a cool process, man. It was pretty cool. But like, yeah, I'm gonna keep Henry at 16 millimeter for right now, and then maybe eventually, once I'm able to get some more financing, maybe take it up to 35 millimeter.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
So, can you also just set up, briefly describe what Henry is about? For any listeners that maybe aren't familiar, if you can kind of just give a brief description of the story, because it's a really cool concept.
All right, Henry is based off of the true story. Again, true story of Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks is the person who her cells, when she passed away, were called the HeLa cells. Her cells are deemed the immortal cells. Her cells never died once she actually physically died. So what happened was they kept experimenting on her cells to come up with different vaccines for like polio, cancers, this, that, the other. And that had been going on for like 40, 50 years after her death. They just kept regenerating her cells over and over and over again. So I just took the whole concept of that story and I applied it where Henry, who Thaxton plays, is like her great grandson. And he actually has the same cell structure as his great grandmother. And this pharmaceutical company finds out about him, and his cellular structure is priceless. So they're tracking them down, trying to basically just use them as a human guinea pig.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a cool concept. I'm very much looking forward to the full length movie when that comes out. This sounds like it could be like a continuous series. Like I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah, that's what we were really trying to do right before COVID hit. And then we had some interest, and then it went sideways after that.
Besides directing films and producing films, you also own your own multimedia studio, Avaloy Studios. What can you tell us about that, and how did that all get started?
Yeah, I started Avaloy Studios. That was about 7 years ago. I started out doing like live action, like comedy skits. Everything else, and I think we talked about that before with I was working with a comedian named Clayton English at the time. Everything went really well with that, and we gathered a good following, and then that led to some other things, and the doors kind of opened up for me as far as being able to produce and direct live action content. We got to the point where I kind of also wanted to kind of venture off into doing animation, so I started working on my first animated project, which was called Milan, which is just like an anime style type project I was doing. That picked up traction. That opened up some more doors for me. That led to some other projects, and then eventually it was just I became more known for doing more animation than live action, because it's just people were just like really, really demanding that more. And then actually, because once COVID hit, it's funny, my business did actually even better, because everybody is going more towards animation, because that seems to be the biggest demand right now, because they know that, I don't really need to have a big crew to really per se get stuff done. Everybody can work home remotely and we can still get a project done.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just recently saw the short animated series for The After Party. What can you tell us about The After Party?
Yeah, The After Party was an idea I had a couple of years ago concerning former President Barack Obama. It was just like, what do you do after you're finished being President of the United States? Like, what do you really do with your life? And it was just a funny concept that stuck with me. And then I kind of started to put together like the pilot for The After Party, and basically it just centers around Barack, Michelle, his kids, and Joe Biden, and it's like what they actually really do after Barack and them actually leave the White House. And it's just like a really funny, comedic show. It's not really like a political comedy, because I'm not really that much into politics. I'm really more to like just showing like the human side of these characters and just the funny predicaments they would be in, And that's really the whole concept with it. So we did we produced like a short movie, which is kind of inspired by Avengers Infinity War, which just to kind of get people's attention with it. And then actually we started working on a pilot like last November, and we're on like the 5th episode right now, because we're trying to do 10 episodes, and then we're going to take that to market.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's going pretty good. It's going pretty good.
Who did the voice for Obama in the after party?
That is Corey Zuman Miller, a really great friend, a good comedian here in the city. He's nationally known for doing his impressions of Barack Obama. He's on point with it.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. I was just curious. I was like, I don't know who this is. This is voice. I was like, this is a phenomenal impression. That was awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, check him out. He's on Instagram, Zuman Miller. He's a great guy.
Awesome. Well, definitely keep us up to date with the after party. I'd like to hear what happens with that. And it sounds like you still have a bit more to do with it, but I'm curious to see, where that ends up. What are some of the challenges that you face by running your own company?
Lack of sleep. That's the first one.
Yeah.
Certain situations pop up from time to time. Like yesterday, we had a couple of computers crash. I had to see about that. I had 2 employees where we do temperature checks at the, we just actually started opening back up the offices for people to come and work. So we do temperature checks at the beginning of the shift and at the end of the shift. And at the end of the shift yesterday, I had 2 employees. Their temperatures had spiked up over 100 degrees. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? So I was like, yo, keep them down there. Get everybody out the office. Yo, let's see what's going on, But just to come find out, though, they were just coming down with like a regular cold. So it wasn't really It wasn't really COVID related, but we just had to make sure and make sure everything was on point. That's all. And then
that's scary.
Yeah, it really was. That's how I was like, I gotta go figure this out. My vice president Bruce, he's like, yo, we had some computers crash. I'm like, yo, forget that, dude. We gotta worry about this COVID thing right now. We know we can recover the computers crashing, but we can't have people getting sick, So we got that straightened out. It's just it's kind of like what I talked about before, where I was saying like, I would like to go to the movies, but I can't take that risk because there are, now I have like 50 something employees underneath me. So if I get sick, they're not going to get paid. So I can't really take certain chances like that, I have to be responsible and think about them and think about our clients, these networks and this, that, the other. And I just have to just be responsible. So, it's no doing frivolous things for me now. I have to actually play everything pretty much straight laced.
Yeah, absolutely. How many employees do you have?
It's 52.
Wow. Yeah. That's large.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. We kind of jumped up a lot over during COVID because, the demand just kept increasing and people kept calling us up like, we need this, animation. We had to shut down all our different shows, but you guys can keep going. We need 10 episodes of whatever show you got. And we love this show. We love that show. So we have to just keep going. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic that you're staying busy, and you're so right about animation being able to, it's able to work from home if you're able to, but I'm glad that you're getting back into an office. I think the nature of animation is to be a bit collaborative and work side by side in some cases. And, I think that's how people learn.
Oh, no. And the thing is, too, with my office, we're located over there in Midtown, in the heart of Georgia Tech. It's the Kodak building. So the way we have the office kind of structured, it's very, very loose where, you show up in, whatever street clothes you want to show up in, and you don't necessarily have to. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the Google offices. It's very relaxed, laid back. You just don't really have to be in like a cubicle straight doing animation for 8-12 hours and going insane. You can walk around some, you can chill out, you can do your stuff outside or on a different floor. It's more it's a more relaxed environment to avoid animators getting burnt out.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of open workspace, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun work environment.
Yeah, not too bad.
If I could draw, I would be hitting you up for a job.
I think, me and Matthew both want to go ahead and work for you. That sounds like it'd be
great. That sounds like so much fun.
So that's cool. So what is a typical work day like for you?
It varies on the project. Like tonight, probably going to go in the office probably about like 11 o'clock, see the progress with some of the different projects we got going on and everything else. I might do some personal editing and writing until about maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, I'll probably come home, crash for a little bit. And then tomorrow I'm going back into the office around about maybe 2-3 o'clock, and probably going to go for about maybe 16 hours until Saturday morning, until about maybe 7:30. Then after that, I'm crashing for the whole day on Saturday. Cause I have multiple projects going on at the same time. So it's like, just trying to balance everything at one time. That's all.
Successful people hardly ever get any sleep. So, you're doing the right thing. You've got a lot of projects going on. It's unfortunate that you're probably not getting a whole lot of sleep, but you did say you're going to recuperate a little bit on Sunday. But that seems to be everyone that I interview or talk to that are successful and on their way to doing something really great. They hardly ever sleep. It's just, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because you have to constantly hustle and be out there and doing something, and you're doing it. Well, with that being said, what are some projects that you can talk about? Anything that you're excited to announce? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, we talked about the after party. What else we got? We got Day Black, which is I think I sent you all the clip for that too as well.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that's our vampire animated series. It's based on the graphic novel from Keith Cross, who's also based here in Atlanta, based on his graphic novel called Day Black as well, about a vampire named Merce who lives in Day Black, Georgia, which is known for being like basically like a fictional town in Georgia where it's basically always kind of gloomy. So as a vampire, he can walk around during the daytime and try to appear as he's a human, but he's actually a vampire who's a tattoo artist who draws blood from his clients. That's how he's able to survive.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah, so like right now we're actually preparing for a little bit of a bidding war with that one right now. I teamed up with a couple of different people with that series. The first guy's name is John Everson. He used to be the president of Mondo Media. I don't know if you ever heard of that or not.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that was him. And then also we're teaming up with Triscope Films, also called School of Humans. We teamed up with them on that as well. So we're actually getting ready to like actually go out and start pitching this really hard. I think like next month. So that's going pretty good with
that's
that.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's going good. And we got like a lot of really, really interesting parties who really want a piece of this. So I'm really excited about it. Really excited about it. Also, what else I got? Jesus, so many shows. I have From Here to Timbuktu. That's my animated series based on Milton Davis's same novel series. It's a steampunk anthology, and I did like an animated series based on that. That's going really good right now. We're almost done with the pilot for that. Again, that's something else we're trying to ship out and to try to pitch that one again before the end of the year. We just wrapped up earlier this year. We wrapped up the Ryan Cameron Chronicles for TV One, animated series based on some different comedic stories from Ryan Cameron. That should be coming out soon on TV One. What else? I'm also doing another animated series. I got a lot of interested parties interested in this one too. It's called Not Doctor, which is a animated tale of it's like a kind of like a Dr. Phil inspired show, but like the host, who was actually called Not Doctor, she interviews different pop icons and tries to help them deal with the psychological issues. So like in the series, we have the doctor. She's talking to like the Mario Brothers. She's talking to Barbie and Ken. She's talking to the Thundercats,
like fan fiction.
Yeah, she's talking to the Thundercats. It's a really cool show, and it's really doing better than I thought it was going to do. It's crazy. And that's
such a unique concept. Sorry to interrupt you. I love that concept. It has your fan fiction there. It's comedy. Dr. Phil. I think the fact that you're calling it Not Doctor is very funny, because it's like that. There's sort of a joke in itself about whether or not he actually is a doctor. I love it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, go on. That sounds great.
Yeah. Everybody, the clips I've sent to people just to get their opinions on it, people love it. I teamed up with it's a comedy troupe here in Atlanta called Red Pill Players. They're the stars of the show, along with one of my acting partners, Tia Laurel. She's the voice of Not Doctor, and it's going really great right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know the Red Pill Players, and that's so exciting. That's all. You've got so many projects going on. That's good for you, man. This is so great. This is awesome to hear that someone local is getting so much work. This is awesome. You're really representing Atlanta well, and we appreciate you for that.
I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Thanks. I know when I showed them when I showed the Red Pill Players the first like screenshots and everything else from the series, they were like, "Wow, this looks legit." I was like, "Yeah, what did you think it was going to look like?" And they were kind of blown away.
I want to kind of get off course slightly and just talk about movies that you're looking forward to seeing. Well, we kind of did go over that a little bit with MCU, but maybe more so with shows that you're watching on Netflix or Hulu. Is there anything that you're enjoying right now?
I am loving The Boys. Season 2 on Amazon Prime. Only thing I'm hating is the one episode every week. I just wish they would just drop the whole thing.
Yeah, I hear you on that. The one episode a week, because the first season was, you can just binge watch the entire thing, and that was much more enjoyable. And I understand that it seems like that's sort of like the old way of doing things now, releasing it, every week. That's just how television used to work. But now we've kind of grown accustomed to binge watching, and that's just sort of how it is now. But I suppose there's a reason for that. I'm sure it's a financial reason as to why they're releasing it every Friday. But Matthew, what do you think? Are you, if you're not watching The Boys, are there any shows that you currently are watching that you'd hope that would come out on all at once as a binge series?
Well, no, I'm not watching The Boys because I know you've recommended it to me numerous times, and I just have not had the time to get into it right now. But but I felt the same way when The Mandalorian came out, and it felt like such just a marketing ploy from Disney, because it launched right with the beginning of Disney Plus, and they were offering, like 2-week, 14-day trials or something. So it was like, or 7-day trials even. It was really short trial, I feel, for Disney Plus. And if they had dropped the whole Mandalorian at once, you sign up for a 7-day, 2-week trial, whatever it was, you could have just binged it and then deleted your credit card information and not re-upped. But the fact that they had, I think it was like 8 or 10 episodes released once a week, so you needed to pay for at least 2 months just about, to finally see the whole season of The Mandalorian. I'm really hoping, now that they've announced Mandalorian season 2, that they're not going to do the same thing. I haven't looked into it at all, but I'm really hoping
it's going to be once a week.
Dang it! No, it's frustrating. I'm into binging now. Netflix has done this to me, and it's not
Netflix's fault.
Yeah, and how can I do my patented rating system, Netflix and Nap, if I can't binge it? That's the whole point of the rating system.
But yeah, it's just kind of, it is weird how we've gotten so used to binge watching that we have kind of almost, at least sort of, forgotten about the fact that growing up watching television, all these comedy shows and sitcoms, all the shows that you watched, X-Files, whatever it was, they came out once a week, but that's just kind of where we are right now. We want things instantly, but I'm with it. I mean, it is much more enjoyable to be able to binge watch whatever you'd like. You had mentioned that you're watching The Boys, and what do you think so far? Did you see the last episode?
Yeah.
Or the previous episode?
Yeah. And see, this is the whole thing too. I went ahead and I after season 1, I picked up the comic book, and I'm just curious if they're going to actually go off of the comic book for the series. Cause I don't know if you read the comic book or not, but it takes a whole different spin on things. And I'm hoping they really come up with something original, because the comic book will probably disappoint a lot of fans, I think, of the TV series.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, it was just, I was like, wow, that's kind of messed up. I mean, it's yeah. If you read the comic book, it's like, it's way, way more graphic than the TV series.
The next episode is coming out on Friday, so
yep.
I am looking forward to that.
We always like to give you an opportunity to plug your social medias, and I'm sure you want to plug the social medias for Avaloy Studios. You want to plug your personal socials as well. So where can we find you?
Yeah, if you go to Instagram, it's Avaloy Studios, AV as in Victor, ALOY Studios. That's Instagram, Facebook, Avaloy Studios, Twitter, Avaloy Studios, even though I don't really touch Twitter like that anymore. I'm good on Twitter. What else? YouTube, all the other good stuff. Yeah. Just Avaloy Studios everywhere.
Avaloy Studios everywhere. We love that. We love to hear that. We'll get you go check out Avaloy. The stuff they're doing is really great. Yeah, because you sent us, I don't know how many you sent us a lot of clips and such that I've been working my way through. So I don't know how many of those are public, but you guys got to check them out and keep your eye on them, because they've got a lot of things in the pipeline. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff you have going on, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. And we'll have to keep in touch, because I've got to see what happens with a lot of these shows that you're working on. I mean, there's so much. It's amazing, and I'm excited, for you and for Avaloy Studios. So thank you very much, Deranta Avaloy. Go check them out. And this has been another episode of NerdLanta.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon, or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.